POC is prominent.
All
Block
right.
sell.
Good morning, trader. It is Wednesday, April 14th. Lots going on in the trading world today. Let's take it to see what's going on in the S&P. So, it seems like we've been having a lot of these very stereotypical normal variation days where the market will chop and chop and chop and chop and chop from the morning through the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, we close on a spike. That seems to be the
Block
pattern.
buy.
Um, One
Block
thing that I
sell.
have noticed is that, albeit the market is the most bullish I have seen it all year, the range and volume continue to contract as we get up here to these higher prices. Once we took out 4,000, it was like some off switch just got broken and people have just been buying like crazy. So basically, yesterday's range was only 35 points, and the day prior to that was even less. Monday's range was, let's see, 20 points. Sorry about that. So yeah, Monday's range was only 20 points, which is like maybe the smallest range I've ever seen on the S&P historically. So what I'm saying is that the market, albeit it's been very, very bullish, we are slowing way, way down,
Block
and
buy.
we're way overdue for a correction. Um, so that being said, though,
Block
I'm gonna
buy.
remain bullish until something drastic changes to make me think otherwise. Right now, um, you can see that we were testing up near yesterday's high, but we weren't able to hold up here at these levels, and now we're retesting the overnight low. So this is a great example of what's called a destination trade, where if you test, a prominent extreme and fail, you're likely to retest the other
Block
extreme
buy.
immediately afterward, which we certainly did. So we'll just need to see what happens if we're able to hold the overnight low, or if we start trading back down towards yesterday's POC. So I am waiting to see what happens with that. As a rule, though, I mean, I was looking for continuation early on here in the morning, but this pullback is giving me a little bit of caution. So it really just depends on whether or not we break this low. If we trade back to yesterday's POC, then I will probably wait, because when you open up in yesterday's value area, you tend to get chopped. So as far as equities goes, let's take a look at what went on in earnings for today. So today we had all the big bank stocks reporting, and everybody beat, like literally everybody. So J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, and First Republic Bank, they all beat on EPS and revenue. Um, Goldman Sachs, actually, they were estimating $10 per share for EPS, and they came in at 18.6. So Goldman Sachs did really, really well this quarter. So um, one thing I did notice, though, is that although J.P. Morgan beat, they're looking really bearish this morning. Um, if we let's see here, sorry, I just realized there's a glare. Let me get rid of that. Might be a little bit better. Okay. So JP Morgan, if I zoom out a little bit here to make it easier to see. So this is where we closed at yesterday, and this is where we are opening at. So it's a pretty significant gap down. Um, you'd see that we're coming right up to the support level. So we'll just need to see if we can hold 152. What would that be? 152.50, something like that. And if not, then potentially come back and retest this trend line here. But I just thought it was bizarre that J.P. Morgan, given how strong their earnings came out, they still dropped, which I think goes to show just how extended the market really is right now. So okay. So, that being said, though, there are quite a few really good setups for this morning. One thing I wanted to point out is that Bitcoin we are holding well above 60,000 and we are consolidating. So, let me see here. So, we built support around 62 and a half. Let me put in my horizontal line right there. And then this next area of balance we have is between somewhere around 64 to 65, somewhere up in here. So it looks like we did find buyers. This is a slightly lower low, lower high, but it seems like we're holding pretty well. So I'm expecting continuation on Bitcoin as a whole. Some other good potential plays for today. Again, this is not a trade recommendation. This is just what I am looking at potentially. So, Sundial, you can see it's definitely starting to garner support here around the $1 level. So, one thing you can see is, let me just trash this. So you can see the first time they tested below $1, they put in this really nice V bottom. And then the sellers came up and actually sold it down again, but we're getting concurrent V bottoms now. And this is looking like there's definitely some aggressive buyers coming in here. So I am hoping for a decent long entry here, and there's quite a ways for it to go back to the upside. So lots of headroom on that one. Palantir was also really bullish yesterday. Let me zoom out just a smidge. And let's switch to a 30-minute. Sorry, this chart's a little bit chaotic. Anyway, so you can see yesterday's activity on Palantir, very bullish. So ultimately, we're up a penny in pre-market. I don't know if it's going to need to pull back or not. I think really a lot of these stocks depend on what the S&P is going to do, because if we end up getting a reversal on one of the major indexes, then that's going to definitely pull a lot with it. So I don't know if it needs to pull back to this trend line or not, but I am looking for a long and a retest of that pivot high around 2750. So, and apart from that, Alibaba gapped up massively yesterday. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before. Anyways, so we have this very big unfilled gap right here, and we're holding it. So I'm looking for a continuation here. This is basically what I would call an island day, where it's not touching anything. I'd be looking for us to continue long and start filling these unfilled gaps up in this area. So, and let me see. I know I had at least one more. Neo also. Neo's gapping up pretty nicely this morning, and we're retesting this trend line coming down from like the $50 area. So this is where we are currently trading at in pre-market. So if we can get a breakout through this trend line, there's quite a lot of headroom there. So good areas to take profit would be like this previous pivot high, and then up here around $45. So really not bad. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate, so my watch list is right here. So today, Sundial, Palantir, Alibaba, Neo. Also AMC is starting to pull back just a little bit. It hasn't moved a ton yet. Riot's also gapping up really big. ExxonMobil is gapping up really big. GameStop, not a lot of movement yet. And Johnson & Johnson had some negative news regarding its vaccine. I can't remember exactly. I think it had to do with like blood clots or something like that. So I know that I think they had put a pause on that or something. It sold off really hard on that news, but then it started to bounce a little bit. So it could be potentially trading at a discount, but we'll see. And then Facebook is poised for a really nice short, as well as Cisco, and Nike's already dropped quite a bit. in pre-market here. It gapped down. Let's take a look. So you can see that Nike gapped down right here. So potentially one has a pretty nice short with a gap fill right there is your first target, and then potentially this previous pivot low for your second target. But all in all, yeah, it looks really, really good. So but that's pretty much all I've got for you guys. It's we got 20 minutes till the open here. Let's peek and see what the S&P is doing. So we're basically just holding at the overnight low still, so nothing super crucial to report there just yet. If you guys have any stocks, I know it's like dead in here this morning, feel free to throw them in the chat and we can take a look. And sorry I haven't been on the last couple days. I apparently I like must have deleted my alarm that usually wakes me up in the morning before the morning brief. So I had to like switch that around. So I apologize. Yeah. So anyways, as far as my bias goes, I mean, as long as the overnight session is holding and the point of control doesn't move down, I will probably remain bullish. Because like, you know, we have POC movement to the upside. That's usually a good sign that despite this pullback, you know, the longs are still going to be interested in coming back in and defending. But yeah, like I said, the market is just so overbought. If we look on the daily chart, I mean, just look at that. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts how bullish this has been. And because if we compare that to the previous price action, like it was fairly like we had good bull runs and then we had a correction, and it's been fairly, you know, balanced as a whole. But now it's just like the market only has one mode, and yeah, it's unbelievable. Um, I can't remember the last time that I had been in a market that was this bullish, except for maybe right after Corona started to improve and the Fed was coming in with big money and buying up bonds like crazy, or selling bonds like crazy. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been in business. All right. So let's take a look here. I want to look at some options potentially. Again, if you guys have any equities you'd like me to take a look at, please throw them in the chat and we can go through them together. All right, well, that's not wanting to load. Oh, and then here's the sector analysis for yesterday. Bear with me while it loads the data. I'm surprised how strong tech has been, to be honest. It seems like the Nasdaq is really seeming like can't even talk, seeming like it's been leading the way. And you know, I think maybe because we are so close to the open, it's not going to show me yesterday's activity yet. But if we look at the last week, XRP, let's take a look. I know that it was really, really bullish when they won those two minor lawsuits. Have you heard anything else in the news on that as per you know, what's going on with whether or not they're going to classify it as a security? I mean, overall, right now, it still looks pretty strong. The only thing I would say is that we have a little bit of a head and shoulders
Block
going
sell.
on. And we get the neckline right there. So yeah, I think just based on this price action, I think it is, you know, probably going to pull back at least to the 200 SMA that I have right there. In the long term, I'm not really sure. Let me zoom out to like a 1 hour here. Let's go 4 hour. Okay. So, I mean, it's hard to say. Crypto's just been really, really bullish as a whole lately. Um, this trend line really does not want to fit very well. And I have to do two. Yeah, it just doesn't really fit very well. Um, in any event, I think it's gonna need to come back probably and retest. To kind of the market will need to reassure itself a little bit before we can continue higher. I mean, right now, other than that head and shoulders, it looks pretty bullish. So I would think we would be, potentially looking for higher prices, particularly if Bitcoin and Ethereum are strong as well. So I don't really know for sure, but overall, I mean, it still looks fairly bullish to me. That being said, though, anytime you're trading around a news event, things, I mean, market structure can kind of go by the wayside. So, and as I'm not really much of a fundamentals guy, I don't really know what's going on with the lawsuit or anything like that. I can't really say. And it's going to be very, very um, greatly influenced by that kind of stuff. So, not sure. Bitcoin, I will say, is definitely looking bullish. However, I was looking at the 15-minute and we did put in what looked like a lower high. Yeah, we failed to take out that previous high by like $20 or something like that. Um, so I would say if BTC is going to be able to continue to the upside, we'll need to come back up and take out that previous pivot high. But as it stands right now, it's kind of putting in like a triangle almost, like a very steep looking triangle. And sorry, that is an absolutely atrocious looking
Block
drawing.
sell.
But we have strength in both directions. That's all I'm saying right now. So Bitcoin is just kind of in a, you know, waiting period, holding pattern. I just noticed the S&P, we're starting to get a little bit of volume coming in here on the downside. So it looks like we want to take out the overnight low here. You can see the delta's continuing to sell off here, and it's looking like it'll probably want to retest the yesterday's POC.
Block sell.
And I am gonna take a short if I can get filled here.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Looks like I am getting filled. Here, I'll switch you guys to my main monitor so you can see what's going on. So I'm really looking for a breakdown. If it comes back up here and retests this area of heavy volume, I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna back my stop off by just a little bit. And I just want to see this big volume right in here hold. But I'm looking primarily for a break of the overnight low, which is one tick down from where I'm currently at. So that's pretty much what I've got for you guys this morning today, though. So again, if you weren't in here, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, they all beat on EPS and revenue for earnings today. So normally I would expect that to definitely create some bullishness, particularly since J.P. Morgan has a really big market cap. But they actually dropped this morning, surprisingly. So I have no idea what today's gonna bring. Like I said, I'm still primarily bullish biased, but if we take out the overnight low here, I'll start to be a little bit more cautious in my trades. Like I said, anytime you open up in the prior day's value area, the market tends to chop because it basically is saying that sentiment hasn't changed at all. So if we break the overnight low here, we'll pretty much be opening up in value, and therefore, um, we'll just kind of be in a holding pattern until something changes. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up this morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, my primary bias is long today. However, if we break through the overnight low right here, then I will probably switch to being more neutral. I mean, as it stands, I'm still fairly neutral. Particularly since we've been going up on such low volume for such a long time. The market is really, really overdue for a correction. In any event, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry I missed you guys the last couple days, but I will most definitely be here tomorrow on Friday, so I will see you then. I can't give you like individual trade recommendations, but I'll tell you what I'm looking at today. So this is my watch list. There's are my longs, and there's are my shorts that I'm looking at. So yeah, sundial's at a good potential reversal point. Palantir was very bullish yesterday. Might need to pull back a little bit. Neo's gapping up. Baba gapped up huge yesterday. ExxonMobil is gapping up. Riot is gapping up. Johnson Johnson may be a good reversal point, but
Block buy.
Note that they did have news recently, so just be careful of that. Yeah. Anyways, all right, guys. Well, good luck today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.